Have a hankering for travel news? Well, I've got you covered on this week's edition of Here's This. Different works, or at least that's what Brad Tilden, the CEO of the Alaska Airlines Group, is hoping as they received final approval to move forward with their acquisition of Virgin America. The company celebrated the occasion with a flight from Alaska's home in Seattle to Virgin's headquarters in San Francisco on a specially painted plane. The 737-900 features the slogan "More to Love" and blends elements from both companies' branding. The two airlines are both very customer-focused but have very different personalities. Lucky Lafayette, an Alaska Airlines employee, said, quote, "Alaska has more of a reputation of being the sweet, nice aunt, and Virgin has the reputation of being young and spunky and a little salty. But like bacon and maple donuts, we think they might just make a surprisingly good combination." A man was arrested after allegedly urinating on a sleeping woman at the Memphis International Airport. Reports say the man, DeMarcus Bush, was being loud and slurring his words, and that he told officials he had consumed multiple alcoholic beverages before coming to the airport. He was charged with public assault and intoxication. As for the victim, well, she told police that she was okay, but she just wanted to clean her coat. That's quite gross. Korean Airlines has announced that it's making changes to its policies that will allow its flight crews to more readily use taser guns on flights. This comes after an incident over the holidays when a drunk man began attacking the crew and other passengers on a flight from Vietnam to Korea. While the flight crew did have access to a taser gun, it was not used during the incident for fear of consequences. The new rules will allow crews to use the weapon for altercations exceeding a verbal warning. Now, should flight crews be allowed to use stun guns in flight? We wanted to know what you thought, so we sent our producer Brad to the streets to find out, and here's what you had to say.
Do you think that's a good idea? Is that something we should bring to the US, or is it best not to have tasers on a plane?
That's a tough question as it is. I know that we have air marshals on our planes already, but flight attendants, I don't know if I would trust tasering. There'd have to be a lot of training and a lot of hurdles to jump over.
It's a huge liability issue, and it's a lot of trust to give someone, like, especially on an airplane with a ton of civilians and a ton of people. That's a lot of power to have.
In my opinion, it all depends on how much you prepare the people in the plane, like the cabin crew and whatnot. I think it's less about having the taser on the plane and more about, I've never met a stewardess who's also like a law enforcement officer, and I think it's important that if you're going to give them the capacity to use an instrument like that, that you also give them the adequate training so that they know when to and when not to pull something like that, especially if, like you said, they're going to loosen the restrictions.
So do you think with proper training, flight attendants should have tasers on planes?
I think it would be a good idea.
I think so.
You think so?
Well,
everyone said no.
Well, I am on a plane almost every week, and I think that, it sounds terrible, but kind of with the state of things right now, I think that flight attendants with proper training should at least know how to properly use one. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, come on. It's like they've been abused before. I know that's what people are afraid of, but I just feel like in certain circumstances it might really prevent something more serious from happening.
One of the perfect situations to have a taser is when you're the one sleeping in an airport getting urinated on. I would have tased that person. Can you imagine falling asleep and waking up and that's happening to you?
I wonder if that person was sleepwalking that did it, though. Did they ever?
I don't think that's what happened.
That sounds like an ambient
But
thing.
I mean, for that person to only say, "Oh, I'm fine, I just need my coat cleaned," I would have had a lot more to say than "I need my coat cleaned."
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Stay connected to the Jet Set from wherever you are in the world. Download the Jet Set app today and fly with us via social media. You may even land on the show.